got cold all over. Okay. Oh, I'm scared for her. Oh my God. I had just bought a bottle of Bailey's Irish cream for myself the weekend before the dance. Oh, okay. I thought that's what they had. What? I am in the habit on nights where I don't have much marking, planning, and want to treat myself of having a bath and watching a movie/series in my dressing gown. Oh my God. My husband bought a new television over Christmas. What? Oh no. I asked him how he knew those things and he feigned ignorance, basically saying it was a lucky guess. What? I was so shaken that I left them, and a short while later, they both left. But that night I could barely sleep, and my paranoia kept growing. I simply cannot believe that he could have guessed all three of those things. One, maybe, but no way all three. My husband is away for work currently. Oh God. I phoned him and told him about it, and he basically downplayed my concerns, saying I probably mentioned those things to my class at various points and the student had just remembered it, but I would never mention those things. I just wouldn't, and I'm sure I haven't. That's so... Why is your husband doing that? I don't like that. I don't like when partners like just don't validate their especially when they're scared. I don't like that. Anyway, I've become more skittish at home when I hear noises. I only live in a small house, but when I arrive home from buying groceries, I check every single room and cupboard before I lock the doors. I've also arranged to have the locks changed. When cars stop outside the house, I turn all the lights off and peek through the blinds. I'm having trouble sleeping. Oh no. In class, this student is quiet and the same as ever, not completing homework assignments, distracted in class. My husband is growing increasingly exasperated and worried for my mental health and the possibility the student could somehow know the details of my personal life. I mentioned it to my supervisor as well, and she also basically reasoned that I had either misheard what he said, it was a coincidence, or a combination of the two. This poor woman, I believe you. What's the play here? I'm seriously freaked out and I don't know how to even begin putting this to rest. Update. Here we go. I wasn't expecting this post to receive so much attention. I'm really grateful to so many people now that have validated my concerns and helped me develop a plan of action. I got home a little while ago and am going out shortly with a friend to try to rule out Bluetooth and Wi-Fi devices with my neighbors. Ah, okay. After that, the two of us will try and conduct a meticulous search of the house for any concealed devices using the lights out phone camera trick some people recommended and some other tips I found online. Oh my God, that's so scary, but fair enough. Just to clarify a couple of points that I've seen raised a few times. Dressing gown is a really common term here in England. I knew they were English. I don't know why I didn't use an English voice for the teacher. For what Americans might call a robe. Okay, it's absolutely common parlance. New word unlocked, okay? Here, most people I know would associate a robe with something a wizard might wear. Fair enough, sounds awesome. In terms of being a lucky guess, if he had just said relax with a glass of wine, I might have assumed so, but the dressing gown comment plus the Bailey's comment when I just bought a bottle and the explicit mention of a new television, which I'm 100% certain I did not misinterpret, these things make it so much harder to write off as a coincidence. Fair enough. My spine, it would tingle if that happened, man. That's just in the worst way, not in a good way. The hairs on the back of my neck would stand up. That's probably a better way to saying that. As far as social media goes, I have an Instagram which is set to private under my maiden name, and my profile picture is not of me. I am not in the habit of connecting with former students. I only have 3 who have all gone on to study English at university and have used me as references. I also have Snapchat, which I use only with my husband and very close friends. I posted nothing with my new television, and I also don't think I've mentioned this to colleagues, let alone to students. Certainly said nothing about Bailey's I just bought. Interesting. Oh my God. I wonder if she found anything. I don't think there's another update, but I would be concerned. I mean, is it wrong to confront the kid and be like, hey, how do you know all that? And then to be like, I don't know how I'd handle this situation. I would have confronted. I'd be like, why do you say what you said? Like, I don't know. I feel like I would need to get to the bottom of it. But I feel so bad for her that the people around her aren't validating her and just making her feel more crazy. I've been in a similar situation with like stalker situations, like when I was younger, not even when like since I've had like a platform. So I know how she feels and how to be like, everybody's like, yeah, okay, sure. That's scary. That's scary. And it's the worst feeling to just not feel safe in your own home. I really hope that she gets it figured out. But I mean, I'd confront the kid, man. I'd get somebody else to confront the kid about it, like a superior, but I guess they're just blowing her off. Damn it. What did people say? Oh, wait, there is another update. Oh my God, everybody calm down. Everybody chill out. Holy shit. Okay. I wasn't going to post an update here, but the number of weird people who have reached out to me made me reconsider. After a thorough search of my house, I found 2 devices. They seem to be camera devices. I don't know if audio is included. One of them was in the smoke detector in my bedroom, while the other was concealed in the wall of my living room. Looking at an old picture of my bedroom, it looks like the smoke detector itself has changed very slightly. I think the new one is a device in itself, which the culprit somehow switched the old one without us noticing. The matter has now been referred to the police. See? Oh my God, that is so scary. If it wasn't for so many of you taking me seriously and giving me practical advice, I wouldn't have had the courage to check, especially given my husband downplaying the concerns. He must feel like a fucking idiot now. As he should. Always take precautions, man. My God, people are fucking crazy. All right. He has been very apologetic and is coming back from his work trip early. I fucking hope so. I hope he has a vase of a dozen roses and a goddamn huge amount of chocolate and a fuzzy blanket, at least, you know? But I've asked to spend time apart and will be staying with my parents for a while. As you should. You know, you did not feel supported by your partner, and that fucking sucks. I feel so bad for her. Holy shit. I'm glad I raised the issue with my head at my school, a couple of others, as there's a paper trail, another suggestion from the thread. Hell yeah, Reddit. Needless to say, I'm completely shaken to my core, and I have the most revolting feeling of my privacy being invaded. I have no idea how many people have been involved in this. Phones have been taken from my students, and we should have more answers soon. I won't be making any more posts or updates. Thank you again to everyone for affirming me and making me feel sane. Oh my God, what a nightmare. I'm so happy she found that stuff. Thank God. I feel like I just went on a roller coaster. My God. Comments say this is nightmare fuel. Either strangers have had access to our house or someone knows and trusts is involved. So true. I was on the OG thread and it made me kind of sick how many people were like, yeah, those 3 highly specific details are totally reasonable guesses all at once. Yeah. Like that's, maybe it's just being a woman. I don't know. But it's just like, little red flags immediately. I don't even think, you just need to be a semi-smart person to know that that's just not normal to guess those 3 things. Oh my God. I mean, honestly, my thought would have been peeping Tom about cameras, but yeah, not a random guess. I was assuming peeping Tom as well, especially if it was like a small house with like 1 floor kind of situation. Oh, I'm so glad she got that figured out, but I feel so bad for her. Like, she's never gonna feel like fully safe after that, you know? I mean, unless she gets a partner where she does feel like that, which I hope she does. Maybe it works out with the person she's with, but whew, crazy. Has anybody else had something like that happen to them? I'd love to read your comments down below, but for me, I worked at a tanning salon for a while, which is ironic, I know, since I look like Casper, but there was a few customers, if you will, that I got stalked by. One was like a fully grown man, and he would leave me like gifts on top of my car when I went to like the supermarket. And he would always question the other girls that worked in place of me, like why I wasn't at a specific shift when I was supposed to be, and just weird stuff. And I was like 17. It's just icky, you know? Yeah, crazy. All right, well, let's move on. All right, next up, not any better it seems, but my brother, who's 18, has been poisoning my girlfriend, who's 24, for the past 3 years. What? Okay. She has always been allergic to lactose very severely, to the point where if she had any traces in her food, she would basically shit herself on the spot ever since she was a kid. That sucks so bad. I'm so sorry. My brother and I have always been on good terms and always hanged out together until 3 years ago when I met my girlfriend. As it happens, you know. He started getting more distant and mean towards me, talking about how she's ruining our bro-ship and taking me away from our family and him. I told him he was crazy and I didn't think too much of it until recently. Oh no. Oh no. Jealous brother moment. Going back to 3 years ago when I introduced Katie to my parents, he was livid. I moved out around 6 months later because I was tired of his constant bitching about her coming over to sleep and hang out. This kid's like in love with his brother or something. It's fucking weird, man. Okay. Ever since then, we would have family dinners at my parents' every month on Sundays. My family is Italian, so we eat a lot of pasta, and sauce, which is relevant. My parents always make 2 separate meals ever since they met her. One with no milk, lactose-free milk for Katie, and one for the rest of us. That is so sweet. She never had issues unless there was an accidental cross-contamination, which happened every so often. And the problem was, every month at those dinners, she was getting sick to the point of rushing to the bathroom and having excruciating diarrhea for an hour with severe cramps. Oh, that sucks. Every single time.